So that morning was a beautiful day, just like today. It was a Tuesday morning, crystal clear blue sky. Something like this was the farthest thing from our minds.
I mean, it just seems like it was yesterday. I can't believe it's been 20 years already.
We were on the air in a 9 o'clock newscast, and my producer came in my ear and said, "A plane just hit the World Trade Center."
My wife had called me about the World Trade Center. Saw those planes, it's like, that was not an accident.
As soon as the first plane hit the World Trade Center, I was dispatched to New York.
I was going over the Teddy Roosevelt Bridge and happened to look over my right shoulder, and there it was, smoke coming out of what looked to be the Pentagon. I wasn't sure at the time if it was the Pentagon or not, but it was a lot of black smoke.
I walked over towards the feed room, and as I'm walking in, one of our morning weather women was in there, and she was like, "A plane has just gone into the Pentagon." And I was like, that can't be right, because a plane just went into the World Trade Center, so how can, and she was like, "Another plane." I was like, "What do you mean, another plane?"
Our Dave Lucas is in the newsroom with more.
My co-anchor was talking, and they cut in with me, and I said, "That's the Pentagon."
This is a traffic camera in the Washington area. That is the Pentagon in the center of your screen right there.
And you knew immediately what had happened because we'd seen it twice before already that day.
And you can see the smoke there.
All I could think about was what we had seen in New York and what we were now seeing in our backyard.
Once the Pentagon happened, it was just get on and stay on. It was scatter the photographers, find out what reporter was available at this time, and then just run to the control room.
People were just streaming down Columbia Pike right around where the Navy Annex is. Flames were coming out of the Pentagon, people were still running out.
Tears flowing and people wondering what's going on and how did this happen, and just kind of surreal.
I thought the world was ending. You know, I mean, I'd never seen that much smoke. You know, we were under attack.
As we were driving up the Jersey Turnpike, there came a point where I could suddenly see the smoke rising from lower Manhattan, and I think it was at that moment it really hit me.
ABC 7 News reporter Brad Bell is live in Hoboken, New Jersey. And
we found a park across the river from Ground Zero, Frank Sinatra Park, located in Hoboken.
The city is sealed off. The bridges, the tunnels, they're all shut down. And we were in this park looking across at this disaster, surrounded by people, many of whom were bandaged up from the injuries they received getting away from the building.
The look of disbelief on people's faces, the look of shock on people's faces.
There were a lot of tears shed at that location as we looked across at what had happened to Manhattan.
ABC 7 News reporter Don Hudson shows us people in our area immediately jumped up to try and help.
It's the least we can do.
After a tragedy such as this, we all tend to come together.
If we can just do a little bit, just even to help the people who are going to be impacted by the blood that's used today, then we might as well.
We'll come to each other's aid. There are people donating blood, there are people donating clothing, people donating food, and it's such a beautiful thing to see.
Construction workers showing up in their hard hats with their tool belts.
We're standing by here in case there's any need for additional EMS units.
Rescue crews coming from all across the area, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut, flooding in, many of them not requested, to just try to help.
Very heartening image, I guess, is when the firefighters dropped the flag over the side of the Pentagon. And the sun was coming up that morning. And you could see the sun, rising. It restored your faith in America. Made you proud.
I didn't have a chance really to process it, to sit down and to sort of let it wash over me until that night. I remember holding both of my kids very tightly, knowing that we were pretty lucky that day and others weren't.
It was a public service. We were the eyes and ears for those who couldn't get there, were stuck there. Like, it was our job to let you know what was going on. That's what we signed up to do.
So I knew that I was going to be the eyes of history for generations, seeing these images. And I had to capture them, and I had to stay focused and do my job and get it done.
There wasn't a person in this area who wasn't in some way affected by what happened on that terrible Tuesday.
I was proud of the people I worked with. The people I worked with were phenomenal.
It's hard to believe it's been 20 years. It's something that can never be forgotten. We can't forget what happened that day.